Good morning and welcome to the Bobby Moore Stand. I'm Gary. This is Tuesday, lovely sunny Tuesday. Been out for a run and it was nice. It was nice. It was quite chilly this morning. Going to be hot later. But anyway, plenty of news to talk about today. And let's go through. So headlines: Spurs are about to increase their bid. There are probably 4 or 5 ways out for Aguerd now, maybe 6. Just heard Sunderland are interested in, believe it or not. If they want to ensure their relegation, be a good idea. Linked to a massive yet quite small playmaker, and updates on the other bids. And also at the end of the show, I just want to take you through. Just I will indulge myself a little bit just for a couple of minutes. I couldn't think of how else to say this, so I wrote it down. And yeah, I'm just going to read it out because I wrote it down. I don't usually do scripts, but I will on this occasion. But yeah, positive July continues. Lovely sunny day. What's there to be miserable about? Okay, so first of all, Naagu Aguerd. There is some news. We knew about Juventus's interest already in Marseille. We also know that he had a great period, great spell with Sociedad last year. Apparently, all 3 of them are interested, sniffing around him. On top of that, you've got Roma and AC Milan, tenuous links, and now apparently, allegedly, Sunderland want to splash. That's not the player you want to go for if you're in a relegation struggle. I'm telling you, Sunderland, he won't like it up there either. What's he going to go from Spain to the northeast? He'll love it. He'll love that weather. Anyway, so hopefully we'll get 20 million for him sooner or later, or thereabouts. I just want to remind you as well, before we get on to the rest of the transfer news, we've got a really healthy situation in our the young players, the excellent young players. These are not just randoms; these are excellent, almost proven young players. Having said that, they can't be proven until they've had a run in the first team. We know that, but some of them have had runs in, fully grown first teams already, and they've done all right. So let's just recap. Somerville. This is what prompted me to say it. Yesterday, Somerville was training again, back in the gym. That's good. Good to see him back. That's on top of the excellent Daniel Cummins, who joined us from Celtic about 2 weeks ago now. We've got the established Ollie Scholes, who will only get better and eventually make that left back place his own, I expect, unless the new guy comes in and does it, who's only 20 as well, by the way. And we've got Freddie Potts, who's coming back from his second successful loan spell, where they absolutely adored him there as well, down at Portsmouth. George Earthy, who had a brilliant loan spell with Callum Marshall, who also did. Again, I think it was Huddersfield and Bristol City, respectively, if I'm getting that right. Maybe the other way around. Don't correct me. And then we've got the ones who didn't go on loan, but we know are setting it alight in the under 21s. For instance, Lewis Alford. There's no better playmaker than him. He is very, very effective, very cute, thinks one step ahead. He's a proper player. Like I was saying, Kudus doesn't. I'm not comparing him to Kudus. We'll come to him in a minute. But Kudus plays with his head down. This kid plays with his head up, and he's always thinking. He knows where the ball's going before he receives it. That's a sign of a fucking great player to be. On top of that, we've got Caelan Casey, who is growing into his body now. I think I was bulking him out last year. He's a big lump, very good on the floor as well as in the air, but especially on the floor. Quite a cultured player. And then we've got Luis Guilherme, who almost made an impact. He was getting better and better as the season went on, wasn't he? So just to recap, we've got, youngsters. We could have we will have the youth coming in, age 20. On top of that, we've got Somerville, Daniel Cummins, Freddie Potts, George Earthy, Callum Marshall, Lewis Alford, Caelan Casey, Luis Guilherme. That's a long list of quality right there. These are not just any youngsters. These are good youngsters, very good youngsters. Don't forget, Guilherme was once rated in a Times article one of the top 5 young players in the world. The world. That's why we bought him. Okay, so it was good to see, the preseason started yesterday. It was good to see Freddie Potts training with the first team, where he belongs. I've got a good feeling about him next year, I must admit. Max Cornet was back as well. I don't know for how long, whether he features in Potter's plans or not. I don't know. He hasn't featured in anyone else's plans so far. I don't know what the problem is. I'd love to know the true story behind that, whether that's him or a genuine injury or whether he's just a sick note. I don't know. It's a bit unfair to guess, really, isn't it? But like with all the players we've been talking about, I am prepared to have them reborn another person and say, I commit myself to West Ham. I'm going to give it my all and everything else. Proof of the pudding's in the eating, of course. Now, this is the big news today, and this came out last night. This is a recurring link from a couple of weeks ago, but it seems to be gathering heat now. Kudus is almost out the door, and he is almost out the door. I'll come to him in a minute. So this is Ademola Lookman, the little guy who tried the Panenka 4 years ago. He's just been voted, he's 27 years old, he's just been voted the best African player of the year. I mean, there's a lot of competition there, right? That is a stunning achievement for him. And in his sort of acceptance speech, he said how far he's come from 4 years ago. He'll never forget that. He was distraught after he missed that Panenka. I mean, that just backfired on him horribly, didn't it? And he was crying and everything. He was distraught, and as a result of that, Fulham just let him go because they sort of resented that he tried to be a little bit flash, Since then, he's got his head down. He's had an amazing season at Atalanta, and his point was, I went from my lowest point 4 years ago with a reference to that penalty at West Ham to my highest point now, where I'm the best player in Africa. It's a pretty meteoric rise, isn't it, really, when you think about it? Last year for Atalanta, he scored 20 goals, including 6 assists in all competition. That's 15 in Serie A, which is a notoriously defensive league, right? And 5 in the Champions League. Really, really great top numbers. He's as we know, he's a winger. He's a right footer who plays inverted on the left-hand side. He's rapid. He sometimes, because he's so fast, how these players sometimes they lack a little bit of control. Ball comes at them too fast, or they've already taken off. So that's the only little criticism people have got of him. But other than that, he just spends his time. If you look at his heat map, he spends his time camped outside. If you imagine a football pitch with our goal down here and their goal up top, the top left-hand side, pretty much halfway down the goal, all the way to the halfway line, is bright red. That's where he spends his time teasing opposition, and that's what I like. Imagine him one side and Bowen the other. It's mouthwatering, isn't it? So that excites me. Diouf is nearly done again for the 18th day running. It's nearly done. Suzuki is apparently still progressing. Another one that excites me, and another youngster. I love having these great youngsters. I really, really do. And that's where having someone like Lookman, age 27, that's a bit of experience, really. And someone who's been through the mill, he's been through the lows, and he's got to a massive high. So Kudus. It's been confirmed by David Ormstein and Fabrizio Romano that this is not some set up by the club to make Kudus look bad. He actually demanded to go to Tottenham. This is like the Rice deal where Rice demanded to go to Arsenal, right? These deals are done before the first bid goes in. But Daniel, whereas Arsenal paid the money, and a really, really compelling deal as well for us, where they agreed to pay us the whole lot in 18 months. I mean, Daniel Levy is the antithesis of that. He wants a bargain. He thinks because the player wants to come to us, he can rip us off. He's not getting away with it, thank God. So I think we're looking for 65 million, and at 65 million, but that'll still be a good price for them. It'll be a good price for us. I think that's a sweet spot. I think everybody would be happy with that. Be honest, I want him gone. And this is I'm gonna come to why, and that's what I've got. It's not a rant. I'm not ranting. It's Happy July. Why would I rant? I just want to mention that sort of stuff. Because it's the one thing where people try to, what you're being so positive about? There's nothing to be positive about. Yes, there is. There's plenty to be positive about. All right. So the other link, so we've covered Diouf, we've covered Suzuki. They're the two that seem to be moving, one to near conclusion, one to, we've had, I think, 2 bids, or we've had a bid of 21 million submitted for Suzuki. I think it's going to take like 22, 25 or something to get him. Man United wanted him, by the way. I think there was somebody making a convenient news story last night. They're still trying to battle for him. I wouldn't be surprised, the state of their keeper, but apparently he turned them down last year. Bloody right too. Wants to play in London, East London. That's where he wants to go. That's where his heart is. Anyway, Richard Rios is the other one, the Brazilian playmaker from Palmeiras. Now, again, there's all sorts of reports on this. Read in a couple of places that we had a 25 million euro bid refused, knocked back. Heard from other people that no bid was put in, but it keeps coming back, unlike a lot of the other links. And that tends to mean that something is happening. Explosive ball winner with a thunderbolt shot. You remember I said that the other day? Thunderbolt. Love a thunderbolt shot. He's never played outside of South America, but hey, who cares? It's a shame that he plays for Palmeiras and not Flamenco, because Paqueta, I think, wants to go back to Flamenco. We could have done a deal there, couldn't we? Could have done a straight swap or something, since that's all we're going to get for him. Really. So look, that concludes the transfer news. Please could you subscribe to the channel, the Bobby Moore Stand? If you subscribe to the Bobby Moore Stand, in the next episode of The Apprentice, I guarantee that Alan Sugar will fire Karen Brady live on TV. There you go. Right. Also, give the video a like, because it's a lovely thing to do. And hit the bell notification icon. So this is what I wrote. Please bear with me. It's a bit self-indulgent, but I just want to read it out to you, and this is a result of some of the comments I've had since trying to be positive. Not trying to be positive, being positive. Because there's nothing wrong with being positive. You can't be wrong being positive. All you're doing is supporting your team. And that's all I do. When I think about what West Ham is to me, I don't think it's David Sullivan. I don't think it's Karen Brady. I think it's West Ham. And I'm going to explain that in this. So it's like we're kind of sabotaging what we love. We've got to break this self-defeating cycle that we're in at the moment. And it's been going for a couple of years. So here we go. So fellow Hammers, that's you lot. We need to talk about the psychological trap we're falling into. Confirmation bias is destroying us from within. We're so desperate to prove the owners are terrible that we actively seek evidence that our club is failing. We agree when rivals call us two bob and nod along when players like Kudus and Alvarez engineer moves away. But here's the truth. You're not hurting the owners. You're validating opposition fans who couldn't care less, couldn't give a toss about our boardroom politics. They just want to take the piss. This is self-defeating behaviour at its worst. You claim to love West Ham, and I'm sure you do deep down. I know it's not all of you. Yet you hope we fail, so you can say, I told you so. That dopamine hit from being proven right is called motivated reasoning. You're working backward from your desired conclusion that we're doomed. Yeah. And again, another expression here as well. The cognitive dissonance, bear with me, between loving the club and hating its leadership has twisted your thinking. Instead of holding both truths simultaneously, which is what I do hate the board, yet I love the club. Why do they have to be? They are mutually exclusive. You can do one without the other. They don't belong together. David Sullivan will never be a West Ham fan in my eyes. He's irrelevant. He's not West Ham. You're West Ham. I'm West Ham. He's not West Ham. Never will be. So back to this thing. The cognitive dissonance between loving the club and hating its leadership has twisted your thinking. Instead of holding both truths simultaneously, you've chosen to tear down everything that West Ham represents. And that's harmful, right? That's harmful. When I think West Ham, me personally, I think great times. I see Di Canio, I see Brookin, I see Billy Bonds, I see all those great times at Upton Park. And look, I'll say it, even in the new stadium, we've had some great times, right? Seville, Leverkusen last year, what a fantastic night that was, year before last. And let's not forget Prague. Let's not forget Prague. We can't. Let's not forget the trip to Wembley when we beat Blackpool, right? The owners are not West Ham. We are. The fan base built this club's identity through decades of unwavering loyalty with minimal success. That's not weakness. That's extraordinary strength. Just an example of how I think we've changed. Thomas Souček embodies what we should celebrate traditionally as West Ham fans. Yes, we love the great flair players, we always will, but heart, soul, and commitment. Yet some prefer disloyal players who abandon ship at the first opportunity. That's not being a proper West Ham fan. That's being a consumer seeking entertainment. This ain't Football Manager, right? Our social media has become a cesspit of negativity that just serves nobody except people who don't like us, rival fans. They laugh at us because we're demeaning ourselves, right? So look, and again, I know this is a minority of people out there because there's a minority of people who leave horrible comments, but the choice is yours. And I know you're not listening at this point. You've turned off and left me a horrible comment, but the choice is yours. Either continue this cycle of self-sabotage, because that's what it is, or remember that supporting your club means actually supporting it. It don't mean supporting David Sullivan or Karen Brady. It means supporting your club and supporting the team. The team needs us now. I just explained how many youngsters we got in this team. What kind of fucking tits would we be if we got on the back of this team full of young, promising stars? What, we'd rather destroy their fucking careers just to be proven right, would we? Just to prove that Potter's shit? Do me a favour. So look, team needs us. It doesn't need our confirmation bias or our need to be right. It just needs unwavering backing. West Ham forever. No exceptions. Come on, you ones.